In this demo, I'm going to show you how to make an instant death room. These you kind of want to use sparingly. The player should never feel like your game is torturing them. The player should be warned in advance that what they're about to do might be stupid, but still you might want to have something like this. So let's look at how we can do it. So in my kind of default little project here, I've just changed it a little bit. So if I start at the end of the road and it says to the east is a dark cave, or a dark cave is to the east, and to the west is an 800-foot drop. So if I go east, I end up at the dark cave, and if I go west, I end up at the canyon floor. So, and then in the dark cave, I can't really go anywhere, and that doesn't matter because I'm going to end up being dead anyway. But let's just say I could go west back to the end of the road. And I don't know, maybe we'll make the cave lit. Sure, it's not much of a dark cave. If I guess if it's lit, but whatever. This is a dark cave. All right. Now, so if I save this and launch this thing here, so if I go east, I'm at the dark cave, and I go west, right? Okay, so now I'm at the end of the dirt road, and I can go west to the canyon floor, but I probably should be dead. All right, so let's now we'll make that cave an instant death room. So what I'm going to do for this is add an event. And I mean, there's really two ways to do this. I can add an event that checks to see if I'm in the dark cave, or I could make a verb check that says if you're going east from the end of the road? The end of road. Yeah, if you're going east from the end of the road, then kill the player. But I'll show you how to do it here as an event. And I'm going to call this event Cave Death, and click Create. And then in here, let's, killing the player. There we go. Killing the player if they're in a particular location. There we go. Let's grab that snippet right there. Kill the player if in a particular location. What location kills the player? Let's say the dark cave. Okay. All right. So what this event does, and events run every turn, right? So after you run a command, the events run. So it's going to check is the player's location in the dark cave. If that's true, we do the stuff between the curly braces. And then this says print line, oh no, you've walked into the slavering fangs of a lurking grue. Probably want to change that. And then we kill the player. All right, so what does killing the player do? Well, this means jump to our kill player function and run it. And our kill player function prints out you have died, press any key, and then it calls our reset function. Well, what's in our reset function? Well, the reset function you need to write yourself. However, Lantern can actually do this for you. So I guess I lied. If you right-click and you say generate reset code, Lantern will put you back where you started. Or it will try to reset the game as best it can. Now, if you have changed room connections and bit flags, you'll have to change all that stuff back yourself. So let's go over that event again. Our event will say if the player is in the dark cave, if the player's location is the dark cave, print out this message, jump to our kill player function. Our kill player function prints, oh no, or you have died, press any key, and then it resets the game. Yeah, that's good. You know, maybe we want to, what does reset do? Does reset call CLS? Reset really ought to call CLS. Clear the screen. I'll fix that, and I'll make that change. I think that's worth it. Clear the screen before resetting, before running the game again. Okay, so there's our instant death event. Now let's just test it out. Launch player. So now if I go east, it says, oh no, you've walked, now I'm in the dark cave, and it says, oh no, you've walked into the slavering fangs of a lurking grue. Right, so that's that event ran, and it checked, hey, the player's in the dark cave, kill the player, and then it reset the game. And notice it put us back at end of road. Okay, so that's one way to kill the player. And then, what else? What else are we gonna do? Now let's look at falling off that cliff. So this is kind of easy, but just make sure that, like, you know, you don't beat up the player. Maybe put a sign somewhere that, you know, beware of the cave or something. Let's make an event called Canyon Death that does the same thing. And kill the player if they're in a particular location. What location kills the player? Canyon floor. Okay. So it's going to print, I thought I warned you about the cliff. All right. So same thing here. So now, after we enter a command, we're going to run this event and we're going to run this event. So if we're in either of these locations, we're going to die. So let's run this. If I go west, canyon floor, this is the bottom of a rocky canyon. I thought I warned you about the cliff. You have died. Okay, and then notice it reset the game there. Now here's a cool little trick, though. Let's make a function. I'm going to go to my functions tab, and I'm going to say I'm going to make a function called fall off cliff. Enter, and I'm just going to print. I'm going to print a blank line, or yeah. And I'm doing PR tab to make it do that. Okay. And you'll see where I'm going with this. PR tab. Thud. All right. Whoops. So just print line with an empty string like that, and it just prints a carriage return. There we go. Okay. So now the thing is, we've got this function. We want to run this function right before we move. Right before we move west from the road, we want to run this function. So we're going to print all this, thud, and then we move, and then we'll be in the new location. Then the event will kill us. So let's go to, now we're going to go to sentences here, and now we might have to change, you know what we have to do? We have to say, we have to check where we are. Let's make an if statement here. If, tab. I'm going to put this in here, because we only want to do this if the player is about to go west from the end of the road. So how do we test that? If the player's location is the end of the road. PL, tab, dot location, tab. So I just did dot L, tab to make it do that. Equals, end of road. All right, so I've made a function that says if the player's location is the end of the road, then I want to go, thud. All right, and then for my sentences, I'm going to say if the verb is west, then I want to run my fall off cliff function, but I don't want to do it instead. I want to do it before. I don't want to replace the action of going west. I want to do this before I go west. And I'll put add. So before I go west, I'm going to say, hey, am I going west from the end of the road? Uh-oh, I'm about to fall to my death. So now if I go west, okay, thud, canyon floor, this is the bottom of a rocky canyon. I thought I warned you about the cliff, you have died. Okay, now, if you were running this on the Apple II or something, the any key in CLS would actually work. And notice it reset our game. So there's like two ways to kill the player. You don't really need to do that fall off cliff thing, the before sentence. That's kind of just some cool little polish. But just if you want to kill the player if they're in a particular location, then just make an event to do that, and you can right click and there's a snippet for that. Kill the player if they're in a particular location. So there you go. There's how you do an instant death room.